Okay, I'm not gonna go in any particular order. I'm just gonna pick up whatever's in front of me. So let's start off with this one. This one is from Natasha Denona. Now this isn't a new one. This is the mini Zendo palette. I'm not sure if I tried it before and I just forgot that I tried it, but I have been using it a little bit more this year. And I really like this one. Not a lot of people like this one as much, but I liked it. I do like it because it has a really light matte and then a really light dark matte, and then it has 3 shimmers, a dark shimmer and then a semi-light shimmer. I do wish that maybe one of these 2 shimmers were a little bit lighter. I do like the dark shimmer, but yeah, it does look really pretty on my eyes when I used it, and it's just a really pretty palette. Would I say this is my favorite mini? No, but I really did enjoy it more than I thought I was. This one is from Dior, and this is the Dior Backstage 002 Smoky Essentials palette. This one is a really pretty palette, especially now that we're coming into the fall winter time. I think this is a really good palette for that season. This, I really did like the colors. It left me a really pretty smoky eye look. I do have a couple of these in my collection, and I do like this one the most. It's just really pretty. You do have a couple mattes, a couple shimmers, a couple satins. You have a variety. That is the main thing that I love about this, is that you get a lot of variety with this palette. But yeah, it is just a really pretty palette. I love the way it looks, and I cannot wait to use it some more, especially during the winter time. I definitely could see myself using it more as the winter months come. This next palette was not such a good palette. This one is from Clio, and this is the napping cheese palette. It just looks like this. Now I will say the shimmers in here are freaking amazing. However, the mattes, they're just a little bit lackluster. I have other mattes in my collection that I like more than this. You're not gonna get a really good cohesive eye look with this, so if you wanted to get this, keep that in mind. It's gonna look very similar. But like I said, if they had like an all shimmer palette, I would get that and then just use mattes in my collection to make an eye look. But yeah, this wasn't my favorite. I haven't picked it up since. I think I've maybe used it twice, if that. But yeah, not my favorite. I would say skip, or just pick up single eyeshadows from a K-Beauty brand if you really want to try out the eyeshadows from K-Beauty. The next few eyeshadow quads that I'm going to talk about are from Tom Ford. The first one is the 30 Insolent Rose. This is the newest one to my collection. It just looks like this. It's not my favorite. Now, the reason why it's not my favorite is because the shimmer is more of a shimmer topper. The rest of these are mattes. Well, not really. This one is a satin matte, but it's not like a special shade like this one I thought was gonna be. It's just very rosy on my skin. I don't really love rosy colors on me. I don't like rosy or pinks. I do prefer more purple, but this is not so much purple like I thought it was gonna be, but it's still nice. It's just not my favorite. I wouldn't recommend, like if I were to recommend a Tom Ford quad, I wouldn't recommend this one right away. The next Tom Ford quad is in the color 04 Honeymoon. This one is okay. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the wet to dry formula. The one from Insolent Rose, I think it's just a regular formula, but this one, Honeymoon, I like it, but I don't love it. There's another one, I don't know if I'm going to talk about it today, that looks similar, or I think I've already talked about it. I forgot the name of it. These look pretty similar. There are 3 actually quads that look similar to each other. This is one of them. It's okay. The wet to dry formula is not my favorite formula. I do like the creme formula much more than the wet to dry, but this is definitely a companion palette. I can get a look with just using this palette, but I'm a quad, but yeah, it's not my favorite. I know a lot of people love this color, but yeah, it's okay. It's pretty. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend picking it up for full price. This next quad from Tom Ford is in the shade 42 Hazy Sensuality. Again, this is kind of similar to Honeymoon, except if you would take this color out right here. The other 3 look similar. This one's pretty. It's nice. I think if I were to like decide between this one and Honeymoon, I think I like Honeymoon a little bit more, but yeah, it's just not my favorite. Again, this is the wet to dry formula. What can I say? Like I said, don't get it full price. Get it at the cosmetics company store. This one is a creme formula. This is the number 37 Smoky Quartz. This is a companion palette. I do like to use this and then using other shimmers in my collection. It's nice. This isn't my favorite creme formula though. I will say that. I have other creme formulas in my collection that I like a little bit more, but this is really nice to use. They're easy, they're pigmented, they're soft. I feel like though the only thing about the creme formula is I feel like I go through them kind of fast. I'm going to show you this shade right here. I haven't had this palette that long and I have like a pretty good dip in this one. But yeah, it's nice. Again, get it at the cosmetics company store. I have seen them there, so really do enjoy this one as a companion palette. I should probably try using this alone. I don't know if I have used this alone, like just doing an all matte look. I would have to try that out, but yeah, I do like it. And then the last Tom Ford quad I want to mention, this one is the 02 Tropical Dust. You guys, this was such a freaking disappointment. It was a very big letdown. Now, I almost bought this for full price just because it looked really pretty online and this looked like the color story that I would like. However, I did wait and I got this at the cosmetics company store. Thank God I waited. But yeah, this was just very lackluster. This shade right here is very light. It's almost a little bit too pink for my taste. Like, you see how light it looks compared to what it looks like in the pan. Like, I'm trying not to blind you guys, sorry, but yeah, it's just not my favorite. You could barely see it. The other ones, they're just okay, but yeah, this was very disappointing. I was expecting a lot more from this one, but I am glad I got it at the cosmetics company store and I did not pay full price for it. This next palette I'm going to mention is a classic. It is an oldie but goodie. I am talking about the Naked palette from Urban Decay. Now, this is the first time that I tried this palette. I didn't have the original one. I really do like this one a lot though. I will say the only thing I wish it had was more mattes. This only has 2 mattes, a satin, and then the rest are like shimmers, but mainly shimmers and satins. It's really pretty. I love it. I like the way it looked on my eyes. The quality of this one is really, really good. The shimmers, I feel like they could have did a little bit better with, but overall, it's a really good palette. I am glad that I have this in my collection. If you had the original one and you want like a updated one or a new one or whatever, I would recommend picking it up again. If you've never tried the palette, I still would recommend trying it. I'm glad I have it in my collection and I will not get rid of this one. They say it is limited edition, but I don't know how true that is. But overall, really do like it. The next one I have is from Natasha Denona, and this is I Need a Warm palette. I like this one. I like this one more than I thought I was going to, because I really thought this was going to be a warm palette, like with oranges and coppers and mustardy colors, and this isn't. I will say though, you can get a neutral look out of this. If you were to take this section right here, this is a neutral color story. It's not cool tone, but it is neutral. This is definitely more of a warm tone, but you are getting more neutrals rather than warm tones, so just keep that in mind. She does have a shade in here that's supposed to be a multi-chrome. Like, it looks red on camera. When I look at it and move it, I see green, red, orange, different shades. However, if you want to try a multi-chrome, I wouldn't recommend going for Natasha Denona. I would say if you really want to try special shades or multi-chromes, go for indie brands. They do it better. Natasha's is just whatever. It's just blah to me. That is what it looks like. You can get more pigment from a indie eyeshadow than hers. She also has a duochrome in here. I think it's what she's calling it. I don't see it. I think it's Hinker, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's a pretty subpar, but that is what it looks like. Yeah, these are just not it. Like I said, go for indie brands, but overall I really do like it. It's not warm, which I don't prefer warms. I can get down with this color story more. I have one more Natasha palette I want to talk about. This isn't new, but I did get it this year and I got it for a really good price. I am talking about the Yucca palette. I am so glad I waited to get this palette. I like this palette a lot. I am happy that I have it in my collection. It is a green grungy color story. This is beautiful on my eyes. The only colors that I don't really love is this one right here and this one, but I had already said that in my video when I talked about it, that I wasn't gonna reach for those colors as much. But the rest of the palette I really do enjoy. The shimmers in here are freaking pretty, and yeah, I really love this palette. I am glad that I have it in my collection. If you want to try good eyeshadow quality, go for indie brand and go for Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I have been on a Blend Bunny Cosmetics kick lately. I got most of the palettes this year. I did get one palette last year, and there are like 1 or 2 more palettes that I want to get that I think are left, and then after that I think I have mostly all of the palettes from her. This one I recently got, and this is the Blend Bunny All Done Up palette. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is such a pretty palette. I didn't think I was gonna like this palette, but when I used it I loved it. Now there is a shade in here, it's called Shine, and it's a blue shifty color, just looks like this. Oh, hopefully I didn't show you guys. And I thought, oh my god, look at how pretty that looks. I thought this wasn't going to go with the palette in here, but it does. I used this color for a inner corner highlight and it looked pretty with the other colors that I used. This is a pretty neutral color with some color to it. So if you're not a neutral girl, I would recommend trying this one out because it is, like I said, neutral, but it has pop to it, if you know what I mean. I have been enjoying this palette so much. It does have a roll of pastels here on the top. I'm not crazy about, but I can make it work, and I do use it for an inner corner. What I'll do is I'll use one of these pastels right here in the inner corner, and then I'll top it with one of like the lighter shades like these two right here, which I did in one of my looks. I used the pastel shade Knockout, and then I put Shine, which is the one I just swatched for you guys, on top of it, and it looks so pretty. I wish I took a picture of it. I haven't been taking pictures of my eyeshadow looks just because it was hard to keep track of what was what, but now I figured out how to do it. So next year I can do it. But yeah, this palette is just so pretty. I will be doing a Blend Bunny Cosmetics like ranking with my palettes soon, once I've tried all of them and tested them out for a longer period of time. But highly recommend this brand. This brand is a go-to indie brand that I personally love. I'm not affiliated, they don't know who I am, anything like that. I wish they did. The last two palettes are from Glamlight. This one is the Barbie palette. It just looks like this. I did get both of the palettes that I'm going to talk about from either Marshalls or TJ Maxx. This is what the color story looks like. You guys, this is pretty. Now, if you know my personal preference in eyeshadow, you know that I don't really gravitate towards colorful eye looks. However, this one I can use, and it looks beautiful when I used it. It's easy to work with, it's pigmented, it doesn't crease on my eyes, it doesn't fade. It is just beautiful. I really do love this palette. If you find this like at a Marshalls or TJ Maxx, I highly recommend picking this up. I think this was like $16.99 if I'm not mistaken. But overall, this was a really good palette. I really do like this one. And then the last palette that I want to mention today, again, is also from Glamlight, and this is the Rick and Morty palette. Now, this one I don't love as much. I love the artwork of it though, inside and out. The colors, they're okay. It kind of is all over the place for me, but I don't really love the formula in this palette as much as I do the Barbie formula. It is pretty though. I just, like I said, won't reach for it as much just because it has more blues than I would like. If you know, I don't like really blue or red eyeshadow, but I can work with the pinks. This side I can work with. I have done a look with the pinks, the greens and the oranges. It wasn't my favorite, but it was nice. Again, if you could get it for a really good discount, I would recommend picking it up. But if you were to see like these two at Marshalls or TJ Maxx, I would say go for the one from Barbie collection rather than the Rick and Morty. Okay guys, those were all the palettes that I wanted to give an update on real quick. I plan on using more palettes. I have a whole stack right here that I need to get through, but we will see. Hopefully I can get through them before the end of the year. We're almost there. I cannot believe 2024 is almost done with, you guys. That is crazy to me. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. And until the next time, I will catch you guys later. Bye.